Good morning, everybody. How are y'all today? Hope you're all doing well. You'll notice that I have, once again, a variety of props around me. So we're going to start by highlighting that today we're going to want one of the most essential props you could possibly have for your practice, a broom. And you don't need the whole thing. I still have the broom head connected to mine. I'm going to take it off, and you just need the stick today. So it doesn't have to be a broomstick. It can be a dowel rod if you have one. It can be so many different things. I use a boken a lot of times in my personal practice, which is a type of wooden practice sword. Whatever you have available, just something roughly cylindrical and firm. And if you don't, that's okay. It's not strictly necessary. The other thing you'll notice is instead of one towel, I have two matching towels today. They don't have to be matching in pattern, just in size. I also have two blocks. They're optional. For what we're going to be doing today, we can use the towels instead. However, if you have blocks and would like to integrate them into your practice today, feel free to have them handy and use those instead of the towels. For the first setup though, pelvic kickstand. So if you don't already have your towel prepared, you can take your towel, fold it out, and then roll it up. Actually today, I'm gonna fold mine in half one more time. So it's a lengthwise fold, fold it in half, another lengthwise fold, and from there, we'll begin to roll it into a little pillow shape. So it's a very thick roll today. This is going to be one of our foundational rolls. You'll notice that it's of a similar size to the block. It's not exactly the same, it's a little squishier, but we can use it as a substitute. For now, we're going to set it up as our pelvic kickstand. And for many of us, this will be too thick. For others, it may not feel thick enough, but we're gonna take that roll, and I'm gonna unroll mine because I know that it's a little much for me. Find our cross-legged seat, lean forward, and just slide it right up under our tailbone. Sits bones remain on the earth to ground us. Tailbone supported, hips prevent us from leaning back for now. We might do some leaning back later. And once you establish that, you have your dowel rod or broomstick, you have your pelvic kickstand set up. Simply make whatever adjustments your body requires so that you can feel nice and comfortable. Let your eyes close and just tune in to your own breath. As you sit, you breathe, you get to listen to the sounds of your body. Perhaps you can hear the sound of digestion, your breath, beating of your heart. For some of us, as we breathe, our body moves. There's little creaks and groans in our joints. Listen to and embrace those as well. And then extend your sense of hearing outward. Notice the subtle sounds of the room you're in. Or if you're outdoors, that beautiful the space. Hear the birds. Whatever noises arise, just allow them into your consciousness. Then bring your awareness back inside. Return to the pattern of your breath and notice if it's changed. If awareness of the world around you has had any effect on your breathing, it may not. And as you focus your awareness on the patterns of your breath, simply release your body to movement. Let yourself sway back and forward. You can roll the shoulders, the neck. Any movement that your body asks for, give it. Begin to still your body. Draw awareness back in if it's moved outward. And notice if movement has changed the pattern of your breath. If it's changed the way you feel. Softly open your eyes. Remove your pelvic kickstand if you'd like to reestablish your rolled fold. Go ahead and do so. Place that off to the side. You can take your other blanket if you haven't folded it up. That's great. We're going to create some padding for our knees by unfolding that blanket. Assuming a hands and knees, all fours position, the knees padded by the blanket, or towel in this case. Establish your wrist under your shoulders, knees under your hips, and just begin to feel where your body is in space. Notice if your belly is falling to the earth, if you're a little arched over, if your head is hanging. Just be aware of what your body would like to do in this position. And then begin to neutralize everything. Lengthen the crown of the head away from the hips. Send the tailbone towards the wall behind you. So it's not a scooping under, it's not a lifting, it's just straight back in the opposite direction as your head. Press the earth away, let your shoulder blades move apart, and then hug the shoulder blades together as the torso lowers between your fully extended arms. Press your shoulder blades apart to lift your torso, and then come halfway down and pause. So the shoulder blades are on the back but not hugged together. Press the shoulders apart, tailbone to the wall behind, head forward, and then extend your left leg back behind your hip. Notice if your hips begin to rotate, if your shoulders begin to move. Keep both hip bones pointed straight down to the earth. Push out through the heel. Tailbone moves towards that heel. Head extends away. Sweep your right arm out to the side. Reach out. Don't let that left arm shoulder move. So don't press the earth away. Don't let the shoulder collapse. Keep that nice neutral balance. And then slowly sweep that right hand to the front, thumb pointing towards the sky. Bend your elbow 90 degrees. Bend your knee 90 degrees. So your fingertips and your heel are pointed towards the sky. Strong yoga foot. We're not pointing the foot. Keep that. And shorten the distance between your pubic bone and your sternum. So it's not a hugging in. We're still keeping a long back. We're just toning the belly, getting some strength in our core, activating everything. And then without finding any back bend, keep that sternum hugging towards the pubic bone. Press the fingertips to the sky, heel to the ceiling. They won't move very far. And then knee to nose, elbow to knee. Hug it in. Let the spine round the cat. Heel extends behind hip. Fingers reach for the front of your mat. Spinal balance. Knee to nose, elbow to knee, spine to cat. Hug it in. And if you notice that you're hanging loose here, really draw in. Press the earth away with that left hand and take that left knee as far into the chest as you can. Spinal balance. Lower the hand, lower the knee, curl the toes under, sit back on your heels. Little stretch, just a real short one. See that all 10 of your toes are on the earth, curl beneath you. Just rock slightly side to side. Hands and knees, tabletop position. Grip the earth with your fingertips and once again establish your neutral position. So if your tailbone's coming way up to the sky or tucking under, if your belly's sagging down, neutralize. So just a slight tone in the belly. Press the earth away. Let your shoulders move apart. In fact, actively press the two shoulder blades away from one another. See if you can lift a little higher by pushing through the tips of your fingers, not through the wrist. Tips of the fingers, all the way there. Head extends forward, tailbone extends back, right leg back behind the hip. Toes point towards the earth, head extends forward, spine as long as you can get it. Keep that. And extend the left arm out to airplane. And keep your balance. Slowly sweep that left arm towards the front of the room, thumb to the sky, and see I've started to push the earth further away. It's a compensation in my own body. So find that neutral position. Don't let the spine sag. Don't let it move far away. Keep neutral. Shoulder blade plugged to the back. So externally rotating that right shoulder. Left arm, right knee, both bend 90 degrees. Hug the sternum towards the pubic bone as you extend the crown of the head to the front of the room. So it's almost like you're doing a crunch, but only until the back is long and flat. Push the fingers to the sky, heel to the sky, keep that bend. Don't lengthen out the belly any. Keep it hugged in and toned. Don't press the earth away. Stay neutral. Head extends forward, tailbone towards your knee. And then knee to elbow, elbow to knee. Hug it in, spine to cat. Extend it out, spinal balance. Knee to nose, elbow to knee, and pause. Check in, I've collapsed. Find your neutral position. Externally rotate that right shoulder. The right knee hugs deeply in. Spinal balance. Lower the hand, lower the knee, curl the toes under, and sit back on your heels. Any movement for your hands, if you need to shake something out. You can roll your shoulders. Just stay on those curled under toes. And we're about to have some fun. All right. Untuck the toes. Sit back on your heels for a second and just see that the tops of your feet are on the earth. All 10 of your Well, I'm saying 10. Not all of us have 10. All of your toes are clicking in, toenails clicking into the mat. And begin to push them in. Push the toenails so strong into the mat that these muscles on the outside of your shin begin to engage. And we're not pushing the foot down, just the toes. We're trying to curl our toes back towards our knees, but the earth is there to provide some resistance, to help us grow stronger. And release. Come on up. Find a full kneeling position. And once again, check in. Are your hips leaning forward or back? Begin to find a neutral position. Trace a line from your hip pointer in front to the corresponding pointer in back. We're going to do neutral pelvis here. So that pointer in back is just on the side of your sacrum. So it's outside of your spine. There's a little tiny bump. Mine's a little covered with cloth, so it's hard to feel with my thumb, but I know where it is. If you can find both with your fingers, great. Put your hands there. If not, you can place one hand on one and the other hand on the other side. So my right hand is on the front, my left hand is on the back. They should be roughly the same side to side. Find a position for your pelvis so that the hip pointer in front and the hip pointer in back are even. Both share a single distance from the earth. If anything, you want the one in back to be just slightly lower than the one in front rather than slightly higher. Once again, begin to curl your toes into the earth. You'll feel those muscles on the front line of the shin engage. Place your hands out to the side, and if you want, this is a great time. If you want to amp it up, you can take your blocks. The foam aren't going to do much, but if you have cork blocks, it's really going to intensify things. Take your arms to the side and then lift them about halfway up to a T. So if you need to, you can take a T and then lower halfway back down. Hug your shoulder blades together on your back and spin your palms so that they face the sky and keep going until they slightly turn back. This is going to press the shoulder blades into the ribs. Keep that engagement. Don't bend at the hip. Keep that neutral pelvis as you slowly bring the back of your hamstrings closer to your thighs and lean back and breathe here. Stay strong. Don't back bend. Don't hug forward. Body is long. Inhale upright. Exhale back. Couple of breaths here. Maybe you can take it back just a little further. Try to keep extending the head away from the hips as you rise. Exhale, bend the knees. Hamstrings move towards heels. Shoulders are hugging together. Palms are spinning towards the back. Head lengthening away from the hips. Inhale up. Exhale, lower. Take a few breaths here. All right. Find your rod and your towel. So, if you don't have the rod, you can double up on towels or just use the towel. It's fine. I personally prefer a little extra when I do this. We're going to take the rod and wrap it up in our towel. We are going to make a nice thick roll. So it looks something like this. I'm using this other towel to kneel on right now. I'm going to come off of it because I want a little bit thicker roll. Mostly for demonstrative purposes. And also, if it hurts your knees to come into full flexion like this, a thicker roll is going to help. So, Come back to your upright kneeling position and place the rolls behind your knees. Lean forward, reach between your thighs, and then hug that dowel rod or the towels into the back of your knees. And if there isn't a rod there, you might have to come from both sides and adjust individually. And then walk your hands back towards your heels. Come to a kneeling position. And just enjoy that pressure. So, if this is intense, and for many of us it will be, figure out where it's intense. If it's more in your calves or your hamstrings. If it's intense in your calves, you can gently lift the bar into the hamstrings and relieve some of that pressure. Or, opposite direction, press down into the bar, really get into those calves. And I'm feeling this. I hope you are too. If it doesn't feel too intense, you can always rock from side to side. Go a little cross fiber, help those muscles relax. And then come on up. Try to keep your towels together as you roll everything down a couple of inches to the center of your calf and kneel back again. Try to stay nice and upright. See that the top of your head is over your hips. Deep, steady breaths here. Back is going to stretch out those quads. If you lean forward, it's going to take all that weight off. So try to just stay nice and neutral. Cross fibering is always an option. And one more time, come on up. Roll your contraption down to the base of your calves. So if you have the bar, don't come all the way down onto your Achilles tendon. It's not gonna really do much for you. You'll feel nice and uncomfortable, but it won't really help maybe a little bit in your hamstrings, depending on how much space you have there. Again, adjust the pressure with the bar if you need to. You can move from side to side, whatever calls to you. And release. Take the bar, set it aside. And kneel back and see how that feels. Should feel nice and free in those hamstrings and calves. As you enjoy that, undo your towel, set your bar aside. And if you don't have blocks, go ahead and find your little pill rolls for both of your towels. And free your mat. Don't let this bar get too far away. Curl your toes under. Oh, this roll doesn't want to stay for me today. You might be having similar issues. It's okay. I'll allow plenty of time for you to re-roll when we get to it. So with your toes curled under and back, see if you can lean the torso back until your knees begin to float up off of the earth. From there, lift the knees as you draw the torso forward, coming to a little squat. Stay on your tippy toes as you slowly press through the heels without lowering them, coming about halfway up. So we're in a little modified chair here, spine is long. Sweep the arms out to the side as you rise all the way up and lower the heels, hands to the heart. Step to the front of your mat. And see that your feet are roughly hip distance apart and parallel. Root the heels down and extend the crown of the head up. Once again, find your neutral pelvis. And again, you can place the hands one side front, one hand back. See that your feet are hip distance apart. And once you have your nice neutral pelvis, push the big toe mound into the earth. Zipper the outer edge of the foot down. Root the heels. Keep that cinching in of the space between your pubic bone and your sternum as you extend the crown of the head up. Lift the inner arches of your feet all the way up to your sternum and breathe. Inhale your arms overhead. And as you exhale, sweep the arms behind you and interlace the fingers. Check in. Did you change the tilt of your pelvis? Spine neutral. Keep all three corners of the feet rooted straight down, arches lifting, head lifting. And as you grip, send your thumbs down below your sacrum so that the arms are long and extended. Roll your shoulders back so that you open up your heart. Your sternum just moves straight to the front of the room. And if your ribs are flaring out, hug them in. Remember, sternum, pubic bone. We're going to hold on to that engagement. It's a long time to keep those muscles engaged, but they're very important to our core strength. So roll the shoulders back and bend the elbows until the thumbs rest on the sacrum. Keep rolling the shoulders back. Press the heart forward. This is the same back bend you take in Setu Bandhasana. Normally, we tend to let all of it collapse into the low back. Today, we're going to keep the feet rooting. We're going to keep the belly tone and just bend into the thoracic spine. Upper, middle back, not the neck and not the low back. Keep those engagements. Keep the elbows bent. And instead of rolling the shoulders together, roll the shoulders forward. And not hunching forward, just the outer edges of the shoulders move back in line with the torso. Broaden across the chest, so send the shoulders apart. Don't take them super far forward. Keep them even with your ears. Feet root, head lifts. I know there's a long time to stand strong, but we can do this. Pelvis is moving towards sternum. Sternum is moving towards pelvis. Upper sternum is moving up and back. Collarbones are broadening. Shoulder blades are pressing apart. Crown of the head lifts. And release. Let it all go. Shake it out if you need to. Whatever you need to do to release all of that engagement. Come to the top of your mat. Feet hip distance apart and parallel. Inhale the arms overhead. Exhale, fold to the earth. Inhale, lengthen halfway, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, fold, Uttanasana. And if your hamstrings aren't ready and warmed up, that's okay. Bend into one and then the other here. And if you can't get your hands to the earth, you have your little rolled up towels handy, hopefully. Use those to support you as you bend into one knee and then the other. And you can send the hips out to the side, back. Just move the hips, straighten and bend the knees. And then set the rolls or blocks aside. Hands come to the earth, knees bend if you need to.
Grip the earth with the tips of the fingers. And strong grip. Lift the heels off of the earth as you shift weight into your hands. Lengthen the spine. Ardha Uttanasana on the toes. From here, you can either bend the right knee and step it all the way back, or you can shift weight into your fingers as you grip and externally rotate the shoulders and float back, plank. Downward facing dog. Breathe here. And if your shoulders are rolling up towards your ears, roll them away. And just as you did with your hands behind your back, broaden your collarbones, send your shoulder blades apart, and push out through the tips of your fingers. Head extends towards the thumbs, heels move towards the earth, hips lift to the sky, tailbone reaches up. Inhale, plank. Exhale, downward facing dog. And we're going to keep moving this time. Inhale, plank. Lower the hips. Upward facing dog. Shoulders roll back. So like you did when the hands were first clasped. Shoulders are rolling back. Heart is moving forward. Send the inner thighs up to the sky so that every one of your toes is on the earth. Downward facing dog. Step or float to the front of your mat, forward fold. Inhale, Ardha. Exhale, fold, root down and rise. Urdhva Hastasana, hands to the heart. Couple of breaths here. Before we move, check in with your body. For myself, I feel that my arches are collapsed. My feet were a little turned out. Find your hip distance apart feet. See that they're parallel. Arches lift into the sternum. Outer edge of the foot zippers to the earth. Insides of the thighs slightly roll back as the pubic bone moves up towards the sternum. Shoulders are neutral. Move the shoulders away from the ears as the head lifts. Palms float all the way overhead. Exhale and fold. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, fold. Find your grip. Bend the knees if you have to. But see that all of your fingers are pressing in. And you don't even need the palms on the earth at all. If you look at my palms, they're off. That's okay. From here, lift your tailbone to the sky. Send the bottom of your pelvis towards the wall behind you as you fold deeper. And if your knees are still bent, mine are, that's great. From here, you can press the hamstrings towards the wall behind you as the head moves towards the earth. If you're off of your palms, lower the ridge tops to the earth. Keep lengthening the head away from the hips as you lift your heels, coming onto your tiptoes. And once again, you can bend the left foot and step it way back, or you can shift more weight into the tips of your fingers, externally rotate your arms, and float back to plank. Downward facing dog. Inhale, plank. Exhale, lower to the earth. Inhale, cobra. Exhale, lower. Push up to a kneeling plank. And just sit back on your knees for a second. We're going to establish our next set of props. We're going to take our blocks or our pill rolls to the front of the mat. See that your bar is handy. We're going to place the rolls under our shoulders. So we're going to give our arms freedom to move. And if you trace your shoulder, there's a spot, like a little crease, right where the arm meets the chest. And that's right about where you want the block or the roll to rest, so that your arm has freedom of movement, but your chest and shoulders are a little supported. Take the bar in front of you and come back to your belt, or come down to your belt. And I'll turn. Yeah, you guys might not be able to see me from here. That's okay. You should be able to see enough if I scoot back and bend my knees. So blocks or towels under your chest. Try to keep your legs extended. I'm keeping mine bent just because I don't have enough space. Well, maybe I do. Hey, look at that. All right. I'm just sliding underneath the puja table. So take your bar. If you don't have a bar, you can use a towel or a strap, whatever you have handy, and find cactus arms. Let your head rest onto the earth and see that your wrists are not hugging back. If your knuckles are moving towards your elbows, just take them into a neutral flat plane with your hands. Keep that. So it's a little bit of a curl, but not much. Right now, it's easy. When we start lifting our forearms, it's going to feel a little bit more intense on that forearm. Now, take the elbows off of the earth. Just gently pull the hands apart. And again, don't let the knuckles roll back. Keep the knuckles flat and roll the shoulders up. And you may be able to lift the bar further than I can. That's okay. Move it as far as you can up to the sky, but don't let the elbows collapse down. Don't try to wing them. Keep the shoulder blades pressing apart. Back of your hands move towards the sky. Lift the back of your wrist so that you don't bend the wrist back. And lower the bar. Little intense work for the shoulders. Relax for just a couple of breaths. And then take your elbows off of the earth so that they're the same height as your shoulders. Keep that flat back of your wrist, so no crease in the back of your wrist. It's flat. Lift the back of the wrist up to the sky. Keep going. Let the shoulders work. Let the head rest. Mine is lifted because I'm talking to you, but you can keep your head resting on the earth. And release. Set the bar aside. Take one of your pill rolls or your blocks and place it between your thighs. And you don't have to squeeze it hard, but give it just a little bit of a squeeze. You're not really trying to crush the towel here. You want to just be able to feel that it's there between your thighs. And check in with your feet. See that your feet are pointing directly away from your hips and that your thighs are rolling just a little bit up so that all of your toenails are clicking into the mat. Place your elbows beneath your shoulders, palms on the earth, and face the wall in front of you. Keep that little bit of pressure on that towel or block, enough to hold it, but not enough to really squeeze in. Curl your toes towards your knees. Feel your shins engage. And once again, we're going to shorten the distance between our pubic bone and our sternum, but we're going to keep the shoulders moving away from one another so the collarbones are broadening. Press the forearms down. Forearms extend directly in front of the shoulders. Head extends up. And basically the hips are pressing into the earth to shorten the distance between the pubic bone and the sternum. And if you're watching me, you'll see that my right pinky toe keeps wanting to curl up. Keep all of the toes on the earth. Thighs are actively spinning up. Hips are pressing down. Shoulders are moving towards the hips and away from one another. Hands grip, head lifts, heart forward as you pull your body through your arms, Sphinx. On the exhale, round your shoulders forward and let your spine lift for Sphinx Cat. Keep the feet active. Keep all 10 toes on the earth here. Hips are pressing into the mat. Inhale, Sphinx. Pull yourself through your arms. Exhale, round the spine to cat. Keep the legs and hips active the same way. Just the upper spine is moving in and out of cat pose. And release. Let your knees lower to the earth. Curl your toes under and lift the knees off of the earth. Press the forearms in and take your shoulders directly over your wrists. So we're not quite coming into cat back. Push through the heels. Lift the inner thighs to the sky until the hips lift. See that you have that block or pill roll between your thighs. Heels press back, head presses forward. Keep the left toes curled under and lift the right toes off the mat as you point them towards the wall behind you. So we're in a one-legged Sphinx plank or forearm plank. Curl the right toes under. Balance out your hips and sweep the left toes back. Head extends forward, hands and forearms to the earth. Lower the toes and shift the hips up for a nice extended dolphin. Come back to plank. Lower the hips, Sphinx. And release. Place one hand on the earth in front of your face, one hand on top, and rest. All right, here we go. Prop yourselves up on your forearms. Stay a little relaxed. Take your left arm across your body, and it can be at a 45-degree angle or straight across, whatever's most comfortable for you. And then bend your right knee. Stop. Are you still hugging into that pill roll? If the answer is no, unbend the knee, squeeze the thighs into that pill roll or block, and keep that as you bend the right knee. Reach the right hand back and find the right foot. And if you don't find the right foot, you can take your other towel and make a little rope, or if you have a belt, you can do that. And you can use the towel to help you. Turn your torso to face the earth. And so for many of us, even if we can grab the foot, we lose the pose here. We pull, but we can't turn our torso to the earth. So even if you have the foot and you can't turn forward, use a belt, use a towel, find that position so that you're facing forward. Press the top of your right thigh into the earth. Shorten the distance between your pelvis and your sternum. So hips press into the earth, forearm presses into the mat, torso lifts, a little back bend here as you bring that heel towards the outside of the hip. And that left leg is not sleeping. The top of the left leg is pressing slightly down. Top of the right leg is pressing down. Hips are hugging to the earth. Softly release the foot and switch to the other side. Start with just bending that left knee. Right arm is across the body, 45 or 90. Reach that left hand back and find the foot. If you need to lean back, and if you do so, if you need the towel, use it. Turn the torso all the way forward. Find that position. You should be able to lay flat on the earth. Keep that same level of facing forward as you find your back bend. Then you can bring the foot closer to the outer edge of the hip. Top of the left thigh presses in, top of the right foot presses in. The block or pill roll is being squeezed between the thighs. We're not losing it. The knee is not moving out to the side. It's directly behind your hip. Softly release that foot. Take the pill roll or the block out. Set it aside. And one more frontal shavasana. Take your hands to a chaturanga arm position like you were going to do cobra. But instead of pulling your body forward for cobra, press the fingertips away from you as you press up to a kneeling plank position. Shift your hips back towards your feet for a kneeling thunderbolt child's pose. And rest, let your back stretch out. We've done a lot of back bends. So don't hunch forward. Try to lengthen the spine. Send the hips as far towards the back of your mat as you can. Use the fingertips in front to gently pull your spine in the other direction for a little traction, a little stretch. Keep this length as you shift back to a kneeling plank. Curl your toes under, push the heels back and lift the knees for plank. Downward facing dog. Sweep the left leg up to the sky, push through the heel, shoulders press apart, head moves towards the space between your thumbs. Knee to nose as you shift towards plank. Downward facing dog. Right leg up. Try not to hunch the spine forward or back. One line from the top of your head out through your heels. Shoulders move apart. Knee to nose, plank. Downward facing dog. Inhale, the left leg lifts. Take your left knee to the outside of your left arm. And three-legged dog. Lower the foot, right leg lifts, three-legged dog. Take the right knee to the outside of the right arm. Three-legged dog. Lower the foot. Inhale, left leg lifts, three-legged dog. Step the right foot outside of the left hand. And lower the back knee. Now, check in before you shift weight off of your hands. Without moving your knee back on the left side, can you walk your right foot back any amount? Once you have walked that right leg back as far as it'll go, you can lower to your forearms, to your blocks, your pill rolls, whatever you have available to help you stay supported. And then bend that right knee. Hug it in towards your hips. And see how my spine begins to round as I do that? Grab the earth with your fingertips. Pull your heart forward. Keep hugging that right heel into the hip. Head begins to look forward. Don't let the head hang. Don't let the shoulders slump. Forearms press down. Heel hugs in. Let that right hamstring work. Lean a little bit forward with the body so that you're not on that right knee so much as you're on the top of the right thigh. keep that leg bent as you come up to your hands. Reach forward with your left hand, and then sweep the left hand up and around to find the foot. And you can stay here, or you can just reach for the foot. Again, you can use your towel if you need to find it. Easier if I can sweep the whole thing around, right? Hug it in. Lengthen out. So lower that right hip towards the earth. Roll the right shoulders back. And then take the left shoulder back behind you so that you're leaning back. Gaze up towards the sky. And then slowly release as you turn the body forward. Tuck the toes. Lift the knees. And pivot the right heel down to the earth. Walk your hands out to the front right corner of your mat, down dog lunge. Press the sole of the right foot into the earth. Lengthen the head away from the hips and don't let that left hip pop up. Keep the hip rolling under. We should be able to support our weight here. The hands are more for balance. We're not so far forward that our weight is in our hands. Our weight is in our feet. Slowly walk your hands towards your right foot as you bend the right knee, extend the left leg, left toes to the sky, right heel to the earth. So keep that heel on the earth. If you have to stay up to lower, stay high. You can come upright if you like. Option to lower the hands. As you transfer weight back into the left foot, hands to the earth, right heel to the sky, three-legged dog, knee to nose, plank. Downward facing dog. Inhale, right leg lifts. Step it to the outside of the right hand. And once again, lower the knee and pause. See if you can move. See, I move, my right knee goes back. Keep the right knee over the ankle. Take the left leg as far back as it'll go. And then lower to your forearms or your blocks, whatever's available to you. And see that you're not hunching forward. Pull your body forward. Just like in Sphinx, the hands are pressing down. The fingers grip, the head extends away from the hip lightly moves towards the earth as you bend that left knee and hug the heel to the hip. As you do so, pull yourself further forward, come all the way off of that left knee if it's available to you. Head extends away. Keep that left heel moving in. Let it work. As you come up to your hands. Left fingers are pointing away from the midline. Left shoulder rolls back as you reach the right hand back towards the foot. You can use the towel, you can use your belt, whatever you have available. And if you can't find the foot, lift the hips. Maybe you can get the foot closer. And then let that left hip descend towards the earth. Keep that left shoulder moving away from the front line of the body. Then roll your right shoulder back as you open the chest towards the sky for sunny lizard. Softly release the back foot. Right hand sweeps to the earth. Left toes curl under, lift the left knee. Left heel pivots to the earth. See how that your hip isn't rolling out to the side. Keep it hugging in as you walk your hands to the front left corner of your mat. Downward dog lunge. And again, weight is in the feet. The hands are not so far out that you're leaning your weight in. We're not doing push-ups. We're just using the hands for a light bit of balance and to help us lengthen the spine out. As the hands pull the spine further from the hips continue to roll under. Keep that as you walk your hands to your left foot, Right toes to the sky, Skandasana lunge. And you can stay high, you can stay lifted. If you can keep that left foot on the earth, lower the hips any amount. Right toes to the sky. You can come all the way to the earth if it's available to you. But keep that left foot rooted. Try not to hunch. Stay extended up. And you can stay up here on your feet, or you can lower your hands. Transfer weight back to the right foot. Hands to the earth, left heel to the sky, three-legged dog, knee to nose, step to plank, lower to the earth. Inhale, cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. Options here. Breathe for just a moment, we're almost done. You can walk to the front of your mat, or you can grip with the tips of your fingers and bend the knees. Whew. Give me 1 second for my breath. Knees to the chest, hips to the sky. Feel what that position is for your hips and bend your left knee. Hug the heel towards the hips and then lower the foot to the earth. Hug the right heel towards the hips and lower it. Keep the knees bent. Look, keep the knees bending, and we're going to stay kind of bent, so let the hips pulse. Instead of doing squat pulses today, we're just going to pulse here for another 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5. Press the hands away, hips move away from the hands. 3, 2, 1. Look at the space between your thumbs. Keep your knees hugging into your chest and use your feet to hop your knees through your arms, coming to a seat. And if you didn't get all the way through, that's okay. Make your way into your seat and just check in. See that you're all okay. Everything's good, everything's in one piece. Awesome. Come back to your breath. Deep inhales. Long, slow exhales. And then slowly begin to come onto your backs. Place the soles of your feet on the earth and walk them a little wider than your hips, and let the knees fall towards one another. If they don't comfortably rest together, you can use your pill roll to support the thighs or the knees and just give them something to fall into. Take a little constructive rest. Set your towel aside. Let the knees lift and rotate your heels so that your feet are slightly turned out and still slightly wider than your hips, but your knees are tracking your toes. Curl your toes up and roll your shoulders beneath your chest. So just your shoulder blades, your hips, heels, and skull are on the earth. Curl your feet off of the earth.
And begin to lift the hips by pushing through the heels. Slowly lower the hips to the earth. It's a little bit like a little variation on Setu Bandhasana. Toes curl towards the knees are slightly wide, and the legs are slightly turned out. Send the inside of your thighs towards the ceiling as you lift the hips. Chest rolls towards chin. Hands can be on the earth. They can be interlaced behind your back. And if they're interlaced behind your back, roll the shoulders together and roll the heart towards the chin. Bend the elbows and place the thumbs on your hips, and maybe you can find a little bit more height by pushing through the heels. Back of the head is pressing into the earth. Slowly lower the arms to the earth. Stay lifted through the hips as you unroll the shoulders. So the shoulders are broad across the earth. Back of the head is pressing in. Elbows are bent. Thumbs press into your sacrum to help you lift. Slowly release the hands to the earth. Lower the hips. And draw both knees to the chest, giving them a hug. If you want to roll front to back or side to side, do so now. And then release your shoulders back to the earth. Feel your hips connect to the earth. Lower the left foot to the earth. Grab the inner heel of the right foot and hug the right thigh towards the earth for a little happy baby, just half happy baby. And release, switch legs. Right foot on the earth, left thigh moves towards the earth. Keep the hips and the shoulders connected. And just draw that left thigh any amount closer to the earth. Release. Any additional movement you'd like here, I would recommend a twist. But if you have something else that you need to close out your practice today, honor what your body is telling you. If you'd like, you can draw the knees to the chest and then lower them both out to one side and simply allow the knees to fall towards the earth. And again, if the knees don't come all the way to the earth, you can support the bottom knee with a block or a towel roll. Or if the bottom knee lowers but the top knee is kind of hanging in space, use that block or roll to support the top leg. Relax into your pose. Winding down. Allow that bottom leg to stay relaxed. Draw the top leg up towards the sky, and then let the weight of the body simply carry that bottom leg off the earth. Reestablish your neutral position and take the knees out to the other side. Once again, support the knees in any way you need to. Find as much relaxation here as your body will allow. Top leg lifts, bottom leg simply follows it up. Place both feet on the earth and walk them all the way down your mat. Let your hands rest palm up by your side, or if you prefer, you can place one hand over your heart and one hand on top or on your belly. Let your eyes close.
check in with your body now.
Anywhere you might still feel the practice, let it simply fade away. Sense the connection of your body to the earth beneath you. And allow Earth's gravity to simply pull you in. Let it draw out all of your tensions and your worries. Let it absorb the energy in your muscles. Become heavy and connected. And simply release Shavasana. Remain as you are and send awareness through your body. Return awareness to your torso and draw in a deeper breath. Send movement out through the tips of your fingers and toes. Begin to roll your shoulders, your neck. additional movement you desire. Hug everything towards your heart. Roll to the side of your choice and pause. Connect back. Find those moments of sleepiness that you felt anytime you've been comfortable or peace. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Turn to the earth and press to an upright position. Thank you all for joining me. For all the wonderful things that you do in your life that maybe you don't get all the credit for. Thank you. May the words of peace run through your mind, dwell within your heart, and be ushered ever forth from your lips. Thanks again.